So this is a very valid piece of equipment. I spoke to this person a few times. He was a serious researcher. He did research into healing, agricultural, etc. So this is the uniqueness of this and the actual circuitry inside of it makes it very different from your very typical and very common radionic technology that we have out there. Because, you know, they're all pretty much the same. They all have your typical 9 dials. I mean, here's an old unit that I made 30 years ago. And it's very typical, 9 dials, in plate, out plate. It's got a flow pattern inside of it in terms of how it goes. And this is where radionics went to in the 80s and 90s. And a lot of it was copied from Ruth's Drown. But, you know, that's not real radionics ultimately. There's a lot more to radionics. There's a lot of important things to radionics that we need to know about. And this is important. As I mentioned, I don't know, I had a little cutoff here. It's in this basic, this is just a well-made, strong plastic toolbox. It's always a good idea. You can carry things around that way. So, but you can see the uniqueness of it, the copper plate, the little kind of computer on here, timer, very similar to what a lot was done with, but this comes off. This is strictly a timer. It's not really hooked up into the circuit. This is where your probes go on. You have this typical probe that goes in here. Well, I correct myself. It's not a probe. This is a grounding. And this is another unique thing that used to be out there on all radionic units, is that there was an importance to ground it. And we'll talk about this in future radionic tools and so forth. Grounding was quite common. As I said, and a lot of units started to get into using antennas. And of course, you do need the all-important electricity. You need to get that motion going. You need that broadcasting. What was done in the 40s, 50s, and even 60s is not applicable to today in terms of non-electric. You're just running into too much garbage out there. So you've got to amplify, and there are many ways of doing that, from the more subtle things of using energy plates and patterns to the stronger amplification using tube amps, broadcasters, etc. And you got to remember, this is technology that's 30, 40, 50 years old. They didn't have the little things we have now, the transmitters, the tube amplifiers, and everything else that are now available and reasonably priced. So this is a very exciting tool. All of those people who really want to see the guts of some unusual radionics, well, guess what, people? That goes to the gods of Patreon and All Access. Make sure you like and subscribe to this. Check out our links below and support us. As I said, seeing the guts of it and going into long discussions on all these things will be done in our Institute of Technology, and this will also be posted on our Patreon page. All of this requires your support. Small amounts of monthly support will get this job done. Until next time.